Welcome, L127 here. So, last time in our Factorio Space Age playthrough, I have gone through the processes in Gleba, made basically every single basic things I think I'm going to need. That allows me to go through making the science and then making the rocket pods to launch the science back to the base. And I was able to start researching agricultural science related technology. There's one thing I want to do before I move on. There is going to be the heating towers here, because if I don't add this heating towers, when the agricultural science spoil, bad things will happen, as things will jam up, and that happens. So better get this set up before we move on. Alright, so in this part, I want to set up the bot mode in Gleba. Here I already set up some things that I can pretty much get this started immediately. So might as well copy the entire thing here in Vulcanus and then put it somewhere around, let's say, here. Just a brief copying. We need arms and to fix the problem with the arms. We're also going to need to fix the problems with the logistic robots. So while that was working, I'm going to start research some things like the rocket turrets. I really want to start to be able to make actual rockets here, as I'm going to be using the rockets. Later, I will go even further here to actually set off defense lines to be able to defend this place without me having to worry about anything really. First, let's get this inserter set up, otherwise I can't move on. And then next is going to be this concrete. Concrete is also needed. Let's see. Let's set it around here, maybe. Alright, so concrete. That's the molten iron. That is the water. Let's put the water on this side. Any available water I can take along there. Alright. And there is the water for the concrete. Next thing to do is going to be the lubricant. for the production of engines. As we're going to need to produce engine units. Let's see. Make the engine units separately. So make engine units here, and then make the electric engine units here. And then I need to insert the lubricant into the system. So first find the lubricant. It's there, and it's gonna be quite a bit away from the actual place that I can set this up. It's up there. Alright, so there is the electric engine unit. There is the speed module, but it's currently being used for the TS3, so it's gonna be sold by shortly, I think. Anyways, I feel like I also going to be putting some robopods around this place. Feels like it's going to be requiring some robopod coverage. I don't have a robopod on my own. Oh, it's already done. Oh. Should be in the logistic coverage. Yes. So the next thing is, let's see, the conveyor belts. I don't know if I have foundries for this. Let's put the foundries, the belt foundries around here. Around here for the belts. Alright, so there is the belts. Next is some little things it's not really needed. We could pick the furnaces, but it's not necessary to get the oil refinery. If it's not required for oil refineries, others can just be made. Anything here that I feel like I'm going to need to make? I could have tried cliff explosives, but I currently don't have explosives, and I don't have a sustainable calcite at the moment. But that will be fixed soon, so I don't have much worries there. But there's one thing I definitely going to do, is going to be the landfill. Landfill is definitely going to be made. And it's going to be made in mass quantities for this planet, so... And here is the rocket turret. And we just finished mining, productivity 35%. I want to get a spider trunk next. And the next is do I feel like going to get maybe not tool building equipment? Let's see captivity next. for. So the next thing is I'm going to ask for landfill and just see as yeah, there's a lot of landfill needed. Maybe that is not the greatest bet for this. Maybe I'll just uh, keep one of these. And the next is robots. Maybe I could just ignore that part. On the other hand, I'm most likely going to need more. Maybe the best way to play this along is just going to be something like this, because it's not really needed for a second landfill factory. You'll never need a second landfill factory if you're just going to be putting everything into landfill factories. If you're going to have a full line directly towards a landfill production, you don't need a second. It's very fast. Since it's so fast, it's no need for any second factories. And so the next is going to be perimeter. Going to be getting another perimeterized factories. We're going to be making robots, but first, robot friends. Let's say 50 for each of these. And I had the batteries there, so the batteries are good. How much we're making? About 3 per second. That's way too much for the food that I actually need. Well, considering the fact that I don't necessarily need these, I could cut these off. Just leave one of these. What we really need is these two modules. And later on, and actually I'm going to get even more speed modules, because the demand for speed modules is quite a bit, due to I also having to use those for assembler stories. And here it says limit to 100. Let's raise it to 150 for such great substation bases. And also going to make sure that I'll try to hold picture with the efficiency measures. That is that. Next is to raise coverage even more. No really much of worries about yeah, we currently don't have much of a good portion size. It's actually being delivered. It's called C, because I don't even bother to rename the whole thing. We are very quickly done with the most of the things, but there is one thing that I have to do, is to get to production of those. Is there is producing about it's 14, so it's producing about 12 per second, and these are 6 of those is consuming that much. So we have about, let's say, 9 per second. Let's see, coal synthesis. How fast do they use for coal synthesis? It's about 2.5. That is quite a bit. And then it's also going to need for well, it's actually indirectly, but let's say 4 of those feed one feeded this explosive factory, and then I put it around here. And then we're going to need to have a blue-red chest combo. With this blue-red chest combo, I can then produce more. Produce explosives. For needs and for rockets. As the rockets is going to be quite needed for my next build. And no, don't do this. Alright. So there's going to be another offshore pump. And I'm making offshore pump. I'm now making offshore pump, so maybe I could just trim this away and then just set this to be an offshore pump, maybe. Also, I don't need an engine. Maybe I could just set it there. Maybe it's just achievable from these, as I could have put those there. And then offshore pump is gonna be there. Set it for 40. Don't need too many, but 40 is also too many. And the explosives is on its way. It still needs water. And also it's not in the range. Maybe I have to put somewhere closer to it, so I have an easier time to go this around. And just leave it there. And then see if the water comes in, and then I should be able to make explosives. And that is going to be producing four per second. But it's also consume 4 per second sulfur. Do I have 4 per second of sulfur? Well, to be fine. Yeah, it should be good. Most of those is used in sulfuric acid, but I think that should be a good amount of whatever I need for this. So next is the demand of ammunition and then rocket turrets. I'm also going to have basic turret. So here I'm going to be making a basic ammunition, and 25 is definitely a way too low cap for this. So let's set it to 300. I will have 2 of these. And the next is going to be rockets. We need quite a bit of this. Set it to 500 per assembler. It's going to be costing that much explosives. And then we are going to set for a gun turret. Gun turret we're going to have 50. And we need rocket launchers for assemblers or the rocket launchers. And then there's going to be a rocket turret. We'll set also for 50 of these. We will need more, presumably. But this will do it, I think. Anyways, the next thing I have to do is going to be production of robots. So let's bring my robot delivery, or to say robot delivery. Anyways, so the cap on this, I feel like 3000 is more of demanding. I could set the construction robots to be this or more. Let's say 4,000. I feel like I'm going to need a lot more than this. But I feel like 1,000 regular construction robots should do whatever I need at the moment. It's not about construction that matters the most. It's about logistic robots. I will need quite a demanding amount of logistic robots to do the work for around this area. As I have been heavily using logistic robots, power isn't much of a problem. Well, at least what I think it is isn't going to be much of a problem. But the next thing that I am demanding for what I have to do is going to be needing Spidertron. So the first thing is I am going to be making Spidertron, but first let me make the quality module. Let me see how many quality. Just the regular one. Just gonna be putting those quality modules for that purpose. And see if I can actually get a good quality module for that. I feel like I'm also going to need other things. So the first thing is going to need rocket turrets. So the first thing I want to do is to actually put some rocket turrets on, because I'm going to need the rocket turrets back home. Here I already have 10 of those. Maybe I could just put 10 of these back to Nalvis, and then I just get those covered. Oh wait, I only have 2 of those in my hand. Maybe I could just try to get 20. And so rocket turrets. Might as well just put back those to the travel platform and put those back to Nalvis. While that is being worked on, we also have the other ingredients, but I'm going to be asking for more ingredients. It's going to be making the exoskeletons and the portable fission reactors. This might sound crazy, but I have a lot of resources on me in Nalvis, and I should be fine. Get those with quality as well. I feel like quality is going to be quite useful. Maybe I should set it to the actual demand, so I can actually support the robot demands for this. As there's going to be up to 5 I can make for this, or 5 fish. Maybe I'm going to try to take more attempts by simply taking 1 more fish batch. And then go with another set of rockets, delivering another travel. Delivering another set of rocket tower back to travel, and then get the travel platform moved back to Nalvis, and then I can potentially set up Spidertron back in Nalvis. And then I bring the Spidertron back, and then I can potentially take my resources. Take a good quality Spidertron there, and then get things started. Maybe I can try. I could potentially try that. Well, that is working. Let's talk about the spaceship design. So recently, I have unlocked access to the advanced H-ray processing, which is this one. This is the advanced H-ray processing. So we have the capability to produce calcite in space and make a more efficient ship that is going to be able to travel at more frequent rates because we have an easier time with our frosted fluid. As for designing the whole spaceship, as I try to design a spaceship, but it's going to take too much time for me to actually design a spaceship that is reasonably good. So I will just bring my older ships. So here is going to be a round ship. I will talk about this round ship first, maybe. So it's going to be quite a bit of expense for that before that happens. But we can put our rocketry back there for for travel. And here is a round ship design. I will talk about the round ship design later, but this is going to be where it's going to be the agricultural science delivery. But I'm not going to call it just agricultural science delivery, as you will see why I want to call it a bit differently compared to the actual delivery. Since agricultural science spoiled, so I have a different schedule set for agricultural science. And the way I want to play with it, I want to go with the agricultural science a bit more different. No, it was just because it's delivered very slowly. Maybe it's because the logistic robot is just presumably because electric engines rolled way too far away. That not even 30 seconds. Yeah, so we can slowly but surely make our Spidertrons. And I'm trying my best to see if I can actually get a good one. I will take a deeper look into the quality farming later, but I will slightly talk about the basics of quality. So here is the tips and tricks. So what is happening is that I insert the quality modules in the machine, and the machine is going to have a chance to be producing to produce quality items or products. And so it's going to be increasing the chance of producing higher quality. And the probability is that it's going to be way similar to stacking. So there is a chance for a tier 1, like the normal quality, to be produced with a legendary product. But first, you have to be able to produce a legendary. You have to make sure that you can produce legendary by unlock legendary quality. And the second is that you have to be really lucky for a normal to be a legendary. The chance is really low. Because you have to roll a successful roll 4 times technically to that happen. So with an 8% chance of producing a quality item, it's going to be very minimal rate of this happening. But it can happen. But don't just you should just not think about that probability in the early game, especially when you haven't even unlocked the legendary. And it seems that I don't have enough legs, mostly because this is not producing enough resources. Maybe just 3 more. But I want to try my best to roll this thing. Oh, it's already finished. Maybe I can try to roll this completely. Maybe not. Just delete this. Alright, so what else? Anyways, there's a second thing about quality is that if you put speed modules, it actually decreases quality. This also applies to beacon, speed modules and beacons. And that the quality module decreases speed. So the way to actually make a thing producing quality items faster is by actually most cases is going to be using. You will be able to do that by having a higher quality production machine, but sometimes you have to just get more production, more machines going. Like, for example, mining drills is not about increasing speed; it's about decreasing resource strength. And in some cases, it doesn't even work. Like laboratories, you can't even put that thing. I don't think you can put those. I don't have an easy time to check for now, but I don't think it works. So, yeah, with the nuclear power here is actually plentiful of power that I can use on Malphite, so I shouldn't need to worry about anything. But let's see about our personal equipment. What are our options? So we have a portable fission reactor. We also have an exoskeleton. And I would like to get for a Spidertron. So first is that I'm going to do a very strict way for doing this. It is not as going to be that easy because so I have to restrict myself to actually do this. It's a bit difficult, and that is not even the right thing. And so I'm also going to put wait, I should just bring this. And I see that I have two of these portable fission reactors. The way I want to have this Spidertron is going to be having personal robots instead. So the first is how many. Oh wait, this is Gleba's interesting network. Let's see here. Log any robot. I don't have a personal robots. Okay, they're just going to be making personal robots here. I can make some. But I should also bring some chances of that of making a good one. So I'll also be bring some of those. And then the next thing is speaking of those, I think I have the responsibility to make one more item for the mall. It's going to be the heating towers. So the first thing is I need to capture battle rocket is going to be needed for captivity. So the first is going to be making stone furnaces. We're going to make boilers, and we're also going to be making heat pipes. These, and then finally heating tower. So for this, just stick to 25. As for this, it's going to be quite demanding, so 500 of those. And the heating tower is also going to be quite a bit demanding. And here, I'm going to set this to just take the whole bunch instead of just a little stack. And then you can just see as well. Alright, so the heating tower is going. And then what else I would like to bring? Shields. What's a shield? I don't know if I have shields. So I could just bring the shields. I could just make shields here. Yeah, so any other research technologies? I don't want to go for epic so soon. But I feel like I should just not worry about that. Two belts equipment, not really much of a worry about that. But I feel like I'm going to just get some of those basic things. Like the tree seeding, it's a very fast. What is this? What's this? And then there's a fresh breeding. As tree seeding is only capable in Alphas, you can only do this there. We cannot do this here. So I really don't know why you do this here. Maybe try to get infinite wood out here as well, because some of the projects I did involving using wooden chests that's going to cost wood. But generically, you don't need to worry about wood unless you're making quality shotgun that kind of stuff. Which I would admit maybe better or maybe not, but I do like shotgun as one of the own choices. And we are also going to be bringing one Spidertron. And this Spidertron is going to be brought back to Gleba for a setup that I'm going to for a run that I want to set for. It's going to be making a build a Spidertron here, and I can then remotely build with just a Spidertron here without me having to go back. And obviously, it's also going to come with basic defensive capabilities. As for batteries, I'm going to make batteries now, actually. So the first thing is I'm going to make batteries. Without making batteries, it's going to be a bit tedious. So the first thing is personal batteries. I'm going to how many batteries I actually have here. Going to be 14,000. Yeah, I will definitely do this. Maybe not this one, but this is going to be normal quality one. And I can make that right now. I can also try for energy shield mod too. I think a regular energy shield will do this for now, so maybe just not need that necessarily. I don't even think I'm going to use shields for this build with Spidertron. It's only a normal quality, so I really want what I really want is having enough power to actually handle the power needs for personal robots. And then there's some batteries being made for the Mark II batteries. And then the next one is maybe no. I'm just going to leave those for now. Just going to go with regular mining productivity. Anyways, here we have Spidertron as a part of our options. So we can now finally make the Spidertron a real thing. So here, I'm going to get my personal equipment grid out there and get this first part of the puzzle set up. And then I'm going to be making personal batteries Mark II. So just 2 of those for now. And then it's going to be a regular personal robopulse. And for this personal robopulse, I'm going to be bringing quality modules for any chances. And then it's going to be the landing. Let's see. Let's say the player Gleba. That's always going to be a player generic. Something like this one. And then the construction robot. Currently, it's going to be 40 here. It doesn't necessarily need that. I don't plan to make lamps, but I could absolutely make lamps. So let's replace this as lamps, maybe. And it says it will have 20 of those lamps. but it's not really needed for lamps. I don't even have the combinators for production. Maybe I could add those back in the mold. Currently, all the 4,000 batteries is going to be left away. That's kind. Alright, and there's going to be the personal robots. Anyways, I think this can be finished for the spider troll, and I'm going to add it to be my color. It's going to be this one. And then it's going to be Gleba building. Yeah, it's not having much of the space. And I will be trashing requested stuff. And then another thing that I forgot to set up is agricultural tower. This is an easy thing to set 40 of these agricultural towers. I had the biochambers back here. It has to be treated a bit differently because it involves using Pentabyte X. So since that needs Pentabyte X, so I have to treat that a bit differently. And as part of that is finished, I can add some combinators that is going to be using. I'm going to be using just the basic ones. It doesn't need to be complicated. As for trains, I don't necessarily need trains. Maybe I need a constant combinator. Just basic combination should do the job. As for the cliff explosives, I am thinking about actually using cliff explosives. But it also involves using the melts for what is needed for production. And that also involves coal. So I will need one more coal synthesis calculation. How much explosives I am going to be able to make. And then that is going to be the cliff explosive. I will set this just to be about 100 because 500 simply is overkill. And as for that, it's also going to require me to have barrels as a part of the project to be able to create this thing. Calcite is going to be running out because of this, maybe. So I need to strictly make it go for calcite ship. Anyway, so let's talk about the route sheet that I just ordered to make. So the only thing that is interesting to talk about is that I decided to use a small loop here. It's a small social loop here, and then any further future processes that's going to be put outside of the social loop, unlike the starter one. I don't think the starter one is, yeah, the starter one also is not, didn't put those back in there. But the space science does, so that's probably not part of it. Anyway, so for this road trip is going to be putting anything, as long as you can put any, it's going to be putting any asteroid chunks and ammunition on different sides of belts. So the ammunition is going to be outer sides of the belts, and then here is going to be where the asteroid chunks are going to be put inside here and inside the slope. There also comes with the reprocessing, where we're going to be reprocessing anything that is too much of that I want to throw away, and then do the loop and then the processing to other asteroid chunks, potentially other types of asteroid chunks, and then roll back to see if there's still too many of those, just knock those back into the loop. And any excess asteroid chunks is going to be thrown away with these two types of inserters on each side. And here is the frost of fluids. Again, there's very similar things here is going to be done with the clock setup. And here I have added more those furnaces and also I've added on a bit more furnaces. And here is the check mark is here, other than just next to the hub. Maybe this is another greatest thing I could potentially done. And here is basically better production for ammunition, so ammunition shouldn't dry out for that reason. And so the ammunition shouldn't be a problem. It's also going to take the carbon, which I can potentially use to bring those carbon into Gleba, where it's carrying the agricultural science. And so I'm going to be copying this whole thing to this thing. So it's going to be taking all this back there, and it's going to be starting the schedule, and then I'm going to end this schedule here, making this not going to be as going to be finishing using this ship for that purpose. We currently don't have much demand on the agricultural science, but I can always research something. Let's just research this basic ones for now. So nothing much of things to talk about. The only thing that I think is really worth talking about is about this calcite processing, or like crushing oxide chunks for calcite. So the first thing is that the oxide chunks is controlled under if I actually have enough of the fluid. So if I have enough fluid in the tanks, for both of the tanks, so if any of these tanks is not having the greatest amount, this is 24.5k, as the checkmark is 24k. I believe it's 24k, I need to find it. It's not this one, so it's 24,000. So there is a range within it that it's going to be acceptable for the production. And so the production is that it's only going to process the oxide extra chunks when I have more than enough of those things. And then the water is shared between the production of these frost fluid production. And any excess calcite, because it's going to be using more ice than calcite, it's going to be thrown away. There's too many calcite in this belt. And it's going to be thrown away. Any extra calcite is not needed for this production, for this frost fluid production, as it's going to be more. It's going to be more calcite than ice at the end of the process into the frost fluids. So I will have. It's going to have calcite backing up. So I will have to throw away any extra calcite that's stalling, that is going to be thrown away using the inserter. And the iron is also going to be thrown into here as a part of oxide, or like the frost oxidizer. It's going to be processed here, and the any iron ore that I could potentially take away is going to be processed back into here, and it's going to be processed to the ammunition is going to be needed for traversing through this place. Traversing through finance is going to be asteroids everywhere, so it's definitely worth getting these. And the same for carbon, except for carbon this time is going to be directly put into the hub. And here is a limit. I want to double up this limit for the ship to 2,000. You don't necessarily need to put the carbon here, but it's always nice to have some resources here for any use. So I can have this side thing multi-purpose, so the fact that I'm going to need quite a bit of carbon for Gleba production, for especially coal synthesis. Carbon fiber isn't much of a major, it doesn't cost that much carbon, but coal synthesis is one of them. of those things consuming quite a bit of carbon, so I definitely want to have that going. Anyway, so this is the route ship, and then we can basically just retire this ship. So first let me delete all this thing. And I think I'm going to throw away these iron pieces before clean off these things. And throw away this iron. And then we can basically transition to the same road ship. Instead of this road ship, actually, I'm going to talk about the next thing I want to talk about for these ship designs. It's going to be the Kelsa ship. And I will be going through the Kelsa ship again when it's finished. Anyways, we can also rename this ship to Agricultural Science Rush. It's going to be Agricultural Rush. Due to the fact that it's kind of rushing for this to go back to Nalvis. Once takes if there's any science packs in the ship, it's going to be immediately throwing back to the. It's going to be immediately thrown back to the Nalvis. So there is going to be very minimal amount of waiting time because later on, for this warship at least, that in the schedule, the check signal is almost always going to be settled. It's going to be one. It's going to be always be given to the fact that it's going to be a lot of frost fluid being produced. Actually, going to not be not much of a frost fluid for the production flows. Anyways, we still have a bit of calcite that I can hold. Anything that I want to produce here. I think not, actually. Don't need for iron sticks. Maybe I can make acid concrete. I don't know. Ammunition. I don't think I bother with any advanced ammunition for this. I already have electric engine units being produced. Maybe I should raise up cap for electric engine units? Did I? No, I didn't. 50 instead of 50. Let's say 150, not 50. 150. And then set the cap for these because it's going to be quite demanding for the cap for these, so I can actually make my own rocket cells out here without having to actually have to put too much effort here. How much is sent here? Oh, that's the problem. Anyways, what is the cap here? 2,000. Okay, this should be fine. Anyways, anything I feel like putting in this, because I don't like that extent. Output. That branching out of the thing, and it's not going to be able to have a really nice and clean setup. I could potentially go for express builds, but do I feel like going to need express builds? I don't think I need this necessarily, so I may be able to. What? Oh, I think it was delivering those explosives to Spidertron. It's not my fault. It's not my problem. It's just this Spidertron is actually doing the job. Anyways, I can also handle this thing with the carbon into this whole thing. I want carbon to be delivered here. And I can demand for say like 3,000, that's 80 stacks. Only it can hold. 280. Maybe I can just simply hold this to 2,000. Oh, there is some calcite. There's already carbon there. Anyways, the calcite ship is done very quickly. It was very surprisingly fast, to be fair. Well, but it's how fast it really does. Yeah, so similar design, but I have adjusted the ratio by a bit for the ammunition. Is going to be one singular assembly stream for ammunition. So 8 smelters for uh for to feed the ammunition. And also for the very similar thing here, there is a bit of a tricky thing about this one. Is that this one is done without using the decider combinators here. So the whole thing is only using the minimum of the deciders. It's going to be these two. This one is the clock, and this one is for checking. So this one's going to be checking sufficient resources. And the other interesting part is about these things. So these advanced oxide H-story crushing for the calcite is going to be limited to 30, and this is always going to be enabled. And I actually don't really need to connect the lines for these two. And if there's any too many of those if there's too many of these eyes, it's going to be thrown away here. And these are only going to be processing when it's going to be less than 30 eyes. If there's too much ice, because it needs to process out the ice, so I can actually get the calcite here. And then the calcite is also going to be limited, so this is going to be mainly making calcite, and this is going to be mainly making ice. I hope this is working functionally as I would like it to be. I would like to update the blueprint so it doesn't connect these two. Yes. Anyway, so there's the fuel, and it appears that the fuel is just being delivered here. 100%. It's going to take time for this calcite ship to fully set up, but it's also going to be slowly but surely set up for calcite. So there's going to be the first section here is going to be taking the H-story chunks through here first, and before actually taking the H-story chunks. Before actually taking the H-story chunks for the reprocessing station, and then process them and then process the oxide that I potentially obtain from reprocessing the metallic and the carbonic H-story chunks for a chance for getting an oxide chunk. And then the oxide chunks are going to be processed, well, most of them at least. If there is any excess that I had to throw away, just throw away using these insertion. And then here is the thruster, and here is the power. As it's going to need quite a bit of power because there is quite a number of crushers in this build compared to a regular normal build. And then here is where the calcite is going to be delivered to the hub. And here's where we're going to be throwing away every single ice bit. And this ice bit is going to be also thrown away using the same thing here. Or actually no, it's the oxide chunks is going to be recycled back here. And then the ice is going to be delivered. This does work. I have to say that this does work, as the entry points is actually capable of reaching those areas, and then this can be thrown away using the inserters. And then it's basically the same thing over here, and that's how like the ice can be thrown away 100%. Well, we may have to roll the ice into the hub, like ice jamming out the whole build here. Anyway, so that needs time to wait, and then this thing is going to be pulsed on Gleba. It's not going to be given the most amount of calcite. So it's going to be routing through Falconus and Gleba because Falconus give out more solar power in space compared to Fulgora, which has very minimal amount. It's not very friendly about power. Anyway, so that is the plans on calcite, and here is where I can potentially put my resources, but check. But I don't think I have enough resources for these, or like enough space for these. And there is another thing I would like to engage with. But first, well, actually, this may be too much. I'm not sure. As for the current situation, I currently have 40 robots. But the Spidertron is almost full. Maybe I should. Well, I don't think it's going to be complete full inventory, but it's going to be nearly full. So I should just leave those for now. And then here I'm going to be going through the other part of the project. Maybe it's going to be the seeds. It's going to be processing the getting the artificial soil. So the artificial soils is capable of accepting. They accept productivity modules for production. So I definitely want to use productivity modules for these. But the first thing I absolutely have to do is that I need to absolutely put the nutrients back into the base. And then that's going to become another problem is that the nutrients is going to be delivering some stuff. And here is going to be throwing away any spoilage that comes. Nutrients are going to be thrown here when they pass through all the path. And we're going for all passes. And then it's going to be a passive provider, or actually passive provider here. And it's going to be blacklist spoilers for these two. And there's going to be requesters here. And then the next thing is I need productivity modules for these guys, and then we can produce the soil. And it's not going to take nutrients. Obviously, it's definitely not going to take nutrients. But I can take the other things as well. Now there should be a cap on the soil. So the first thing is this Umaco soil. The Umaco soil, I want to limit it to, let's say, 500. Same for the other thing, but this one is going to be the generous soil. Alright, so that is the first part. And then this is also another way to dispose the nutrients. Any excess nutrient stays. And then it's going to be on point of disposal, which is very nice. And then the calcite is also going to be on production. But here I am going to be demanding calcite already, set it to 2000 for now. And since the calcite is I believe, yes. C for calcite, huh? And so we're gonna call this gonna be a planet. And the material. Gleba calcite. Alright. But it still takes time to get delivered. So I will try my best to get this to Falconus maybe. It's not having the most amount of frosted float, but I think this can hold it for a while. I just want this ship to travel to travel through a planet, and then this can go functional. I can later on set up an Alphas calcite for my Alphas calcite needs. For example, Gleba explosive on Alphas, or even further, like actually using foundries in Alphas. So I can like make many things easier. Like I can directly put maybe nothing. Because I feel like I'm going to need to. Well, I think it's going to be slowly pushing towards the middle line, so I'm just going to leave this. But then I will be able to produce the metal resources, or like smelters resources there. But it's going to be taking some space if I going to do the foundries in the bus. Or like in the mall. I don't have a bus in the office. I no longer have a bus. For a very long bus. In my opinion, like very long bus carrying way too many resources actually end up being very inefficient. So, or like being ridiculously messy that I don't feel like it's going to be reasonable at one point. So. I'm just going to be ditching that idea for the purpose of it. I don't think it's really the greatest way to think around this one. Anyways, managed to start adding focus and use iron. Did I restrict iron? I did 1000. Yeah. Alright. So 1000 iron also will be posted here and process here, and then as you can see here, as our frost fluid is slowly accumulating, I feel like I should be able to start the schedule for now. So the first thing is that we're going to be given a time pass, so this is going to be 60 seconds, and then it's going to be given a circuit condition. Maybe it's going to be the check condition passing through that this gets to it. Well, later on when I have a short positivity and then higher damage, maybe it's not going to be the case. So we will set the schedule to be like this, and I could just potentially leave this like this, and then the calcite capacity set to 2000. I think this should be fine now. Maybe we need more, we need less, maybe not. But yeah, it's going to be the Gleba calcite. And then I should be able to get every needs for the calcite. And then we can also upgrade the other ships with the demand from the. I did a mistake. I shouldn't need to delete. Wait a minute. Let me put back the thing, because I actually don't need to throw away the. I shouldn't need to delete this conditions or like delete the schedule. So I'm going to set it back. Make sure it's the similar to the thing. And then those first. Yeah, this should be good now. Anyways, I can also upgrade this to the road ship. The schedule is going to be, but the requests are going to be reset, so I don't have to reset this again. but the schedule doesn't, so that's nice. And then I also going to also requested the demands. Yeah, so that is that. That's very nicely traces. Then we can slowly but surely settle for the demand. The current state is slowly but surely accumulating the resources. It's a bit more efficient in focus than just backing down this way. There's very minimal amount of resources. Maybe later on I can just start a space platform in Falcons, maybe. Any more of the ship product, any of the more of the thing related to the ship, including like alphas, cal size, or like even later on where potentially going to make another rush ship is going to be about fireflies. As later on when I started doing captivity, maybe I will do this in this part, so I will have to get a fireflies feed rush ship. So in this part, it's going to be a route ship again. So maybe I should just get another ship like in Alphas, and then it's gonna be two ships, I think. So, anyways, I can finally get to talk about the whole thing. But before I actually in start to talk about this ship, I should start about talking about the spider trunk. So it's gonna be a bit more. It's gonna be two slots, right? So I think it should be just good if I. Well, actually, I can. Well, actually, don't. I can't really. But I can set up like a new request. Setting, let's say 1,800 for now. It's not strictly a combat spider trunk, but I do have rockets. So for the 8 ship is going to be a road ship again. And then the road ship's going to be delivering this. I will leave B for now. I will do this in the next part, most likely. But as these ships are slowly but surely building up for the whatever I feel like it's going to be needed, I think I am good in Gleba, but I want to just demonstrate the Spidertron now. So the first thing is, I feel like this is slightly bit dangerous. So let's just say, go here, and then I do some things with the Spidertron. Later, I can also have a swarm of those because I had once said that for usage of Spidertron is about numbers. So you are going to have a pack of Spidertron, probably at least about 4 of those, or more, maybe. You may have a swarm of those, or you may have just a pack of those, several of those, not just a singular Spidertron. And then you control all of them, a pack of them using the remote. And then you see if there's any enemy. I can demonstrate this. It's going to be big enemies, not really at the moment, but it is quite close. So that's. I was going to navigate through this whole thing. I don't see any red dots at the moment. But it's indeed like even better in the future for Spidertron to go through this whole thing. I did see red dots here, so I will be demonstrating how to actually do kills with the spider. So it isn't the best to actually do Spidertron attacks like that, because it's going to be wasting quite a bit of rockets by killing all of those regulars. Because killing those regulars is not the most efficient way to settle for this. And indeed, I will need the repair packs for that. But I don't really mind for now. It's just a little bit for me to take down any enemy bases that I feel like too close for comfort. away from me and remotely even, because remotely is what it matters. If I can do things remotely, it's always good. So I can later on presumably start working on overgrowth soil. I haven't really focused on doing overgrowth soil throughout the past playthrough of this game, so I may try to go with overgrowth soil. But overgrowth soil is going to be quite a bit of effort because it's going to be involving using. I don't think it's going to be able to go through that lake, so you can look at all like ocean. So I think it's going to be tweaking a bit. Anyway, so the Gleba calcite is on this way of supporting the whole thing. At the moment, we do not have enough platforms. I've been heavily using platforms. That is not the greatest possible. But I think I can take away these. Oh, maybe not this. Maybe I will. As for the agricultural, it's just the calcite, so I can just throw this away. Maybe. I do have ammunition stored there, and the delivery as well is going. This delivery as well is going to be formed back until the. And there's going to be delivering science packs straightly. Don't really need to worry about like a single ship that is going to be able to just focus on delivering science. I think it's going to be just what I want. For now, our steel and copper is alright. It's really about them being made too slowly, or it's just because it is not being delivered fast enough. Maybe also the reason, but it's just going to be that they are made slowly. Maybe it's just because of that. Yeah, so it's going to be slowly made, and then it's going to be slowly be alright. We have repair packs for Spider-Tron to be repaired. So I think I'm going to be adding another rocket before I left out for the next project. We will leave the calcite for now. It's not strictly needed, but I do need to make a new silo. For that, I'm going to take many electric engine units. I'm going to be making. Oh, I don't have stone bricks. Well, there is a problem about that. The stone bricks. How fast these cost? 2 per second. Not sure about that, but I think I have those tokens. Oh no, it's just those. I think I have those in Fulgora. Oh, what is this? He jammed. Oh well, this wasn't what I have expected. Oh, the whole thing is actually jammed. And I want this. I will have to fix Fulgora soon. In the next few parts, maybe. So I will have to restart over Fulgora anyways. So I don't think this isn't much of a problem. Let's set this to 500. How fast is it? Not that fast. I will have to make a second set of these. Well, even crazy. How much? 24,000 is simply alright at the moment. It's going to be 1.25. It's producing that fast. I don't think that's strictly a problem. It isn't going to be a problem for stone bricks. But I do need stone bricks. Anyway, stone bricks is there. or like I should say that concrete is here now. What's this? Steel. Steel is going to be needed as well. Pipes, and then processing units. And then I should be able to make my rocket silos, and I should consider using tier 2 productivity. While working on this, but I don't have tier 2 speed modules. Oh well. Then the only way for me to be able to make this food is going to be tier 2 speed modules. Actually making tier 2 speed modules. So let's talk about these. Tier 2 speed modules. I had quite a bit of tier 2 speed modules. Tier 1 speed modules, that should be fine. And then the next thing is going to be slowly but surely finishing this ship. And the final silo I'm going to send for. Set these to automatic request. And then I can also bring back carbon fiber later on, which is going to be needed for the next planet. Well, not really directly needed for the science there, but it's going to be needed after I started the science there. And that planet is going to be quite a bit of hard work before I can actually enjoy what I would have potentially received there. Because I'm going to get some relatively powerful technology there, but it require some bit of hard work before actually being able to have a chance to have a go there. As for that, the cows have been slowly but surely drained, but I am fine with that, as I already have a Gleba calcite ship that is going to cover all the calcite needs there, at least. And also, the Gleba calcite is carrying any of this calcite. It's still slowly but surely carrying the slowly but surely making the calcite. I really hope it's going to be enough for that. Anyways, I was able to. Okay, please stop. It's just too much speed modules tools I actually need. Anyways, so that's going to be the speed module tools. So how I'm going to replace this is going to be these and to cover all the needs here. And then I think I am mostly good for this now. The only thing that stops me behind this is going to be the enemies. But I think currently that I don't really need to worry about the enemies, I hope. If there comes any enemies, I'm presumably dead. Then I should be able to leave. What? Oh, what? I probably haven't finished recycling out. Trashing my inventory. Anyways, let's go back to travel. So, heading towards the next destination is not going to be back to Nalphys yet. I'm going to go back to Fulgora, because I have been not really put much of a focus on Fulgora. Because, in my opinion, it's even more logistically difficult to set up things in Fulgora. Try to set up 100% belt factories in Fulgora, and you will have your mind like blow up. Like crazy. I'm not even joking, it's just that crazy. It's just very painful to deal with those. So, well, try my best. I'm going back to Fulgora. I have many things to fix, and I need to start to work on the quality stuff as well. So. Before actually continuing on that, let's also talk about making a better. Let's also talk about making a better. Oh, it's just the thing. It's not. There's nothing much to worry about. Anyways, I also have to set back to this hard bar or quick bar. As for the delivery ship, I think you can just do the auto delivery whenever it feels like I want to be able to go through. When it's ready, and then they should be able to go. Anyways, that is on the map, and slowly but surely A is gonna be finished, and then I can start to talk about. Yep, here we go. Then we're leaving. And yeah, let's see how I'm gonna deal with these disastrous planets. Oh dear, I haven't been here for a long time. So what is happening to this mess? So the first thing is none of this is actually working. Let's see what is all behind this. What is happening, to be precise? It's because it's just 100% China. Is it because 100% China? Not sure. So to find out, I need to clear some things first. But it seems that bad things are happening for this. Isn't really the greatest to be said. I don't even have like the foundries here, the best out of foundries. I don't think I have that many foundries. Yes, I do have a second copy of a power armor here, but it's not the greatest out there. It is not really the greatest. I don't think I even have a lightning collector. I would like to get lightning collector. So let's see. Lightning collector. I think some of the signs were thrown away because there's treasure on Cresta, so there is some science packs. Those two science packs were thrown away here. 1,000. Oh my god, that's going to be quite an annoying thing to deal with without me going back there first. Anyways, so I going to need even more. I'm going to need even more of those things, of those lubricants. There's no way to do this. I'm gonna need even more lubricants for the next part of the project. It's gonna be needing those lubricants for express belts. So the first thing is oh my god, is quite a bit messy at the moment. Let's just go back to focus. I will be demanding for some foundries. 20. I think 20 should be good. And then later I also gonna need a large mine, big mine, just 40 of those. Let's go. Strictly, would this be a full chain? I can't be sure. It feels like so. I can't be sure why it's fully jammed up, but whatever it means, it isn't a good thing. So I have to try my best to fix this, to keep things flowing, so I can. Well, it isn't really that strictly. I have to like keep things flowing. Like I have to do those to keep things flowing in Gleba, but still annoying. It's still annoying. Let's say. So I would like to try my best to fix this entire logistic nightmare here. Because I just did the minimal amount of effort to actually get this carry through. I had a lot of those science packs stored up there. The only thing is that I need to find a way to fix this gem. And to fix that gem, I know exactly a way to fix this problem. Stacking Certo, because it actually does. It actually does help. So I definitely want to get through this stacking Certo. Because the stacking bonus does apply to recyclers as well. So I can try that, and then the stacking Certo is going to be perfectly. It's going to be a perfect solution to my problem that I have to face for this. Anyways, let's talk about quality module. So the first thing is making a quality module. Basic build for a quality module. So it's going to be me making the regular tier 1, tier 2, like the thing. Yes, I know. That to the rate that I have to recycle about half my processing units, that I shouldn't need to strictly worry about this part. Just need to keep things flowing, and I should be fine. So here is going to be the tier 1 of the quality module. And here is going to be the tier 2 of the quality module. And for the rate that I would like to work on these for, is that I can use speed modules for these. And I would like to have... well, actually, I would like to slightly flip this through so I can have a better workspace here on the left for quality sort. But there also comes the problem that I feel like I'm going to need quite a bit of power for these parts. So I'm going to need more accumulators. Do I even have accumulators? That is the problem. Yeah, we seem to be missing quite a few things for these planets, and I wouldn't be the happiest about this, because we have a lot of there is quite a bit of things being missing here. I feel like I'm just going to need to redo the whole Fulgora at one point. At the current moment, I'm going to just go through these accumulators to earn some more power, because I definitely going to need power. Without power, I'm not going to be able to continue working on this project. And the next thing is going to be putting speed modules on these guys. Wait a minute. Not these guys, the tier 1s. Tier 2s, I don't think to work on those. Anyways, and here is going to be another thing. It needs the superconductors. I do have the superconductors, so I could just leave those. Nothing I have to worry about actually even make the superconductors work because we do have superconductors. And we have been storing some of the superconductors. And this is when quality modules come into place. Here is some of the quality modules. Do I even have quality? And I do have some of these quality modules here, which is decent. I definitely also use these quality modules for sure. So I don't have a tier, so I don't have the greatest quality modules, greatest quality available at the moment. So what I can potentially do here, well, leave those whenever possible. So what is the cap on this? 50. So what I can do here is we set here for 50, right? And then we do an uncommon tier. And then we do a rare tier. And then we do an epic tier. Don't worry, this will just be... Oh, wait, what? Oh, I don't know. So, epic tier. And this will be the legendary one. Oh, wait, what? I haven't unlocked it. Oh, it's just my problem. So those will be available at one point, but it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be at least 5 parts away from legendary, so let's not talk about legendary at the moment. And then the next thing is I'm going to be able to store up my my different rare qualities of items whenever possible. And then there's going to be the power circuits, processing units, and then superconductors. I don't even know if this build can even sustain before I actually can even just stay here before I actually made the legendary quality even. I mean, it could potentially hold, but it's gonna be difficult. So at the moment, as I almost have the epic quality, might as well just do the epic quality. And we also need to control when I actually started working on this whole thing. So I will do this on these guys, and then these are gonna be purple chips. Yeah, so these are gonna be start working. Well, actually, we're just going to do this on the inserters. Logistic connection when the epic is less than 500, then we do the thing. And these are going to be connected to the logistic network because of this. And then we also need to wait for epic quality to be available before this takes into effect. Before actually setting the recyclers here, I'm going to make sure I have a loop being used with this waste, because heavy oil is free here. I just need to increase loop production for this. Oh, it decides to just put those here. Maybe not the greatest as well. Don't need anything for legendary, so just leave with those. At the moment, we can't really go for legendary, so it has to be this for now. And so this, so we'll just put all these Quasimojos here, because why not? Anyway, so this is gonna be the epic. I almost have epic anyway, so. But the next thing is I need to do a recycler for the whole thing. So I think 6 should be fine. Or maybe even less. 5 should be just fine. It's gonna be lit. And it's gonna be blue chest here. And it's gonna be well, actually it's gonna be the second tier here. And the third tier here. At the moment, this one is not really needed because well, I don't even have. And active providers. I have active providers, yes. And obviously, this goes over and go with quality. So, we'll say that those can't take qualities. Those definitely take qualities. Oh, we will take qualities. And then since the epic is almost done, then we are almost have the capability to actually make epic items. And it's about to be done, and we can start to work on our stack inserter research. And here's the epic ones. So now we can actually make epic items. So this is about what's going to be about happening. There's going to be a lot of circuit production going for this. And then this is really going quite a bit annoying, to be fair. While I was doing one about this. This was flowing fluently. Maybe it's just because everyone was taking chess there. But I want to see, to be fair, what was actually doing what was actually causing the problem. I need to double up. Otherwise I'm going to run the actual storage available here. So we recycle here, and it's the regular price, so the regular price right there. And we're inside of the thing. Maybe it's because of that problem. I would like to do changes for these, but it can be a bit difficult for me to actually set this up. So I guess this is the best I can do about this. Maybe it's because the wrong connection here. That's supposed to do something like this. So make it match similar to something like this. The gem comes from the iron plate, so maybe if I actually throw away this iron plate back here, it may be able to take over for this. Well, a slight bit. And so any of these epic quality modules I can potentially put here. But for anything reasonable I can do with the next quality, because it involves using actually very end-game stuff. Well, we are getting close to end-game, but it doesn't necessarily mean the end of a series, to be fair. I don't even know where I'm going to actually end this whole series. But one thing that is for sure is that we are slowly but surely setting up the whole factory here to be able to produce quality stuff. So the quality is going slowly but surely, but it's just the beginning of quality. We still have plenty amount of research that I should do with electromagnetic science that I didn't really bother to work on. But there also comes another problem, is that there is more about Fulgora that I can potentially seek for. Not just like this little tiny island that I would have been compared to if I found any bigger island that I could potentially have even bigger workspace available for me. At the current moment, you can see that the power isn't really at its greatest state. Do I have cliff explosives? 12 of those. Alright. It's going to be a bit difficult for this to be reached max extent. But I should be able to get this one. I don't even have robots. Oh, the robots is there. Alright. Anyway, so the first thing is I will need to settle a bit of robot work here. And then we have this access to the stack inserter. And you can already see some things are already stacking doubles. And I should also take consideration of this copy method will not work well with foundation unlocked, because it will try to force place foundation. Will try to place foundation, and that is not the greatest thing, because you will need foundation, and it's going to be quite a bit messy to go with the foundation for this. So it isn't strictly the best way to do this when you have foundation unlocked. But it does work at the current moment. So I could just take the power. And I almost run out of the cliff explosive isn't the greatest. And at the current state, you can see that the power is actually being heavily drained from this course. I don't think any other quality is being used at the current moment. But later I do have the responsibility to make some processing units, rail processing units, for the making of rail mech armor. I could take my chances for any epic. At the current moment, we don't even have. I don't think I have any epic item at the moment. Not even in global production at the moment. It's really slowly but surely. I don't have beacons here, so I don't think that's what it matters. What's happening here? It's just it's nothing produced. So it's just what is the rate of this? 2.6%, and I think rare one is 4%. And not necessarily, I think. It's just slow. Fair. I think A is done. Okay, so A is done. So this guy, let's bring this guy to Gleba, and I can also put some things there. B, I will just leave B for now. Then for Gleba, how many recyclers you have? 86 should be fine. So here is where I'm going to need to get the bioflux in the place. So here is where I make bioflux. Since this is where I need to make bioflux, can I just share lanes to be fair? I'm not really sure about this, but I could potentially try to do this at the moment. And then maybe I could stack up this. It's going to be consuming even more space, but I could potentially just get some modules here for this first few first recycles, and then I can do the bioflux here. Alright, so let's put these bioflux to the thing. I don't even know if I will have enough bioflux demand for this. It's going to eat up all bioflux. This would be a bad idea. This will have been a bad idea. So I think that I shouldn't do the trash. But I have to keep the bioflux flowing. So the way that I'm going to walk around this is going to be around these. So to be able to get the most fluid flow of bioflux. Not sure if this is the best way to do this. It may work, it may not. But this is currently my best bet with this bioflux. But I may not be able to get the most freshest bioflux. So, impropriety here. Would like to get the freshest form of bioflux if possible. And I could potentially do some neat things. Well, you're going to call it, simply say that neat thing, not sure. But I could have done some neat things around bioflux. For that, I will need to bring some stuff. Only science isn't the greatest because it's doing the other science that is not so well in mass production. I have mass production types, but not this one because it's not much really produced. But I do want to have variety here for the later builds because we're about to have quite a bit amount of bioflux demand. And that demand can hurt. So Maybe I just don't do the priority at the moment. But I want to still have this input priority. And the only thing that can really save me at the current state is going to be if I can produce enough bioflux. Well, to be sensitive, I may be able to hold this, but I presumably it's good. I'm presumably going to need more Marco production for all this, but this is going to be what's happening for now. And then the next thing is going to be that we have 4 of these. Very nice. I just look back and I just got 4 of these. Very decent. Very decent. Anyways, so back in Nauvis, there is one thing I can do. Is to set this to a capture bus rocket. I'm gonna set for 200 of these. And then capture bot rockets is going to have things that can spoil. So the only way for this to be passable is going to be a whitelist out of a spoilage. Whitelist to filter out of a spoilage. And here the biofluxes just stay here for now. Later is going to be processed somewhere. I would like to move this a bit. And then we're going to set up for a schedule. But first let me trust these stuff because, well, technically possible for me to trash these. And then we can do the bioflux speed rush. So the first thing is we're going to be demanding 2,000 of these bioflux. And then there's going to be item counts, bioflux equals 0, item counts, and a circuit condition here. And then it's going to be doing the bioflux feed. But so-called for this bioflux feed is going to be called bioflux feed rush. Is again another rush ship. So. And then the next thing is the demand on bioflux can be very strict. But there is a coming with another challenge. How many recyclers I have? 40. I think 40 should be fine at the moment. Is that if there is any excess bioflux, it's going to be thrown away. Let's say bioflux from back here. And I can trash the bioflux this way. then I can settle for a request. For Bioflux, it's going to be 6,000, and then 6,000 furnished to cover any spoiled Bioflux. And then the Bioflux for this, any disposal of Bioflux is going to only be applied, and it's going to be taking the spoil first. And it's going to be 550, 500, it's going to be 4,000. We want to keep things flowing. Maybe this is way too much for that. Only do this when I have below this number. Then we can just let go of this. And then another of this will be perfect. And here I will be something for heating tower. It's going to be the spoilage. And for this spoilage, it's also going to be limiting to when I have too much spoilage here. There's going to be 8,000. This way I can take the spoilage out whenever I feel like I'm going to need when I think that when I have too much spoilage. So I will be able to use my Bioflux to make the capture bottle rockets, which is here. The capture bottle rocket is going to be needed for not only for capturing the nest, but later when I need to capture the when I need to make the biolabs. So that being the first part of the challenge, and slowly but surely we are making better quality of these quality modules. For now, I feel like I'm just going to use these the quality module making machines. For that being the most important part of the build. And then slowly but surely I can get all of these things to be quality ones. And then I should be able to proceed for making a better quality items, especially the mech armor. I have hold myself for making mech armor because I really want to make a high quality mech armor. So I really want to make a mech armor, and it's going to be a lot easier with my life in the future. So I definitely want to settle for the mech armor production. In production, before that, I will definitely want to look toward actually making good quality production for that. And yeah, it is going to be more important when later I get access to actually make productivity 3, as that is going to be way more important for me to have a quality arm, because there's going to be a lot of benefits for that. Productivity 3 at the current moment is in jamming, strictly jamming, so I think this should be just good. And as for this, is still holding the Bioflux. And the many things takes the cover. Of the Bioflux demanded here. the main things will take the bioflux, so I think bioflux is alright, but when I'm using a lot of those things in production, maybe like mass producing rockets, maybe I will then run up the bioflux. But yeah. Anyway, so we have the bioflux delivery, or should I say the bioflux feed rush. I am being quite careful for this because I am most likely going to run over bioflux on Gleba, and then suddenly the whole thing shuts down. But I should be good because we currently have quite a bit of seeds going at the current moment, as though I am slowly but surely capable of actually setting up the seeds production because I have been processing most to all the fruits thanks to the fact that I was able to dispose the things at the end of the branch. But it seems that I need more. I need more. Robobots to cover some of these things. So for that part, I will be adding some robopods because it seems that the robots are having a problem with this. So I do have the responsibilities to increase the amount of the robot density for this section, and then I should be able to utilize this robot system better here because it's a very logistic robot intensive. At the current moment, it's not having an issue with the numbers, so I should be fine. And we have the foundry, so we can start to work on the actually upgrading this whole thing in the picture. So I want to delete this whole thing. And I want to take this whole thing. That could have been easily an overkill there for the numbers that comes with this. So I'm going to decrease the number at the moment because God what happened, God knows what would happen. Alright, so that is going to be the whole thing for this build. And then the next one is going to be loading it. And then the lubricant is here, but it seems that we need even more logistic robots. Let's set it to 3000 because I feel like the intensity for this is quite a bit As our power is also being drastically drained. That we actually die out of power. So the only way to cover this is that I add even more accumulators. So let's do this. Need to carry as much of this power as much as possible before things go badly, because things are about to go really badly because power is, well, we don't have enough power to cover the needs for the daytime at the current moment, so I definitely want to increase power storage for this reason. And we are almost done with the Gleba technology that I can take at the moment before actually doing the captivity. I will I will check this again before actually leaving this. As power is quite a concern at the current state. I don't have enough power to cover Fulgora, then this can go badly. Alright. Anyways, so I basically done with Gleba at the moment. I may have some more polishing work in Gleba, and well, cover the place with defenses if I feel like going to, because, well, if I can potentially defend, I wouldn't have to 100% focus on like checking if there is any enemy base next to the my spore cloud, and then I could have been in conference, or like it isn't going to be as devastating if any enemy, if enemy force actually attacking me. And I also started work on. I also made this quality section. I can start to really farm my quality modules. So this isn't the most efficient build here, but later I will be making a bigger version, a more resource-intense version of this quality farming, so I can actually get to be able to make a better quality production for later quality builds. because everything quality starts with quality farming. And I will most likely going to do this after unlocking legendary quality, as a legendary is going to provide quite a decent bit of quality bonus for me to really start quality farming. And I also set up some spaceship upgrades, not this one, but I've been taking some spaceship upgrades for me to be able to finally get some calcite on Gleba, so I can actually support my resource needs back in Gleba. And then I also have some carbon being delivered from spaceships as well. And here, the agricultural rush should be able to deliver those back here, so I can actually have the carbon delivered back here, and then yeah, it is mostly good with that. And then we can have the carbon supplied from this place, and then the agricultural rush. That's the 2000 cap, and I should also have these 2000 cap applied to these 5 feeders. Anyway, so that's pretty much what I have done for this part. If you want to follow the series, consider subscribing and turn off the notifications, and I will see you in the next part. Thanks for watching.